Hey guys, hope everyone's doing well. Everyone okay? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's 6 p.m. for me, so it's just about evening. How are we all doing? I thought I'd jump on and do a live because I've not chatted with anyone about the Kiely Rodni case for a while. I don't remember the last time I did a live on Kiely. It's a while ago, so I thought I'd hop on and see what people's views are. Because apparently there's going to be an update from the sheriffs this coming week, kind of week beginning the 19th. So what I've been doing this afternoon is going through the press conferences, the press conferences one by one, and kind of recalling, refreshing my memory on what they said. Because so much has happened. We're only like just over a month into this case. Well, a month and a bit into this case. And so much seems to have happened, but so much of it is rumour and speculation, as I talked about in my video today. If you saw my video over on MichelleAfterDark, some people don't like me addressing rumours. They want me to stick completely to fact. But in a case like this, you can't, because there's actually not that much we know. There's so few facts. If I just stuck to facts, I'd say the same thing every day, or I wouldn't make videos about the case. So I don't know. I thought I'd hop on and see what people's views are. But while people are coming in, let's just say a few hellos. Bug Love, see you in an hour. Well, it's an hour now, so hope you're back in. You did. You caught a live. You caught a live with me. Hi, Holly. Greetings from Amsterdam, says Mariam. Hey, Brenda. Vampy TN. Hello from Tennessee. What else have we got? Jen from NC. What's that? New York City? No? I don't know. North Carolina. There you go. North Carolina. Catherine, feeling nervous. Oh, sorry. I'm looking at the wrong one. Oh, it's still Catherine. First live with Michelle, I'm scared. Never spoken with a genuine mastermind before. Now I'll be meeting Sherlock Holmes. I wouldn't go that far. But you're feeling definite foul play. I don't know why you're apologising, because I think the majority of people think there's some kind of foul play involved, including me. I went through accident. This is an accident for a while, but I'm back to foul play now. I'm backwards and forwards with this case. Honestly, I don't know what to make of it. Which I think is why our discussion's good sometimes. Alyssa, hello. You might actually be catching a live. Yes, you might be. X-Mind K, Sleuth Community. Suzanne, K-Lep. I think if the authorities knew it was an accident, they would have said so. Something's not right. I don't know about that, actually. Hiya, Cassie. Cassie's here. I've changed rooms. Cassie's a bit confused because I don't normally sit in this room. This is the cat den. It's the room that the cats use in the winter. They just come in here all the time in the winter because it's a small room, and it's really warm in this room. Because my house is really cold in winter. Like, it's boiling hot in summer and freezing cold in winter, so the cats come in here. So I call this the cat den. But I will go back downstairs. If the internet goes down, I'll go back downstairs, because sometimes when I'm upstairs, the internet doesn't want to play. But we'll see how it goes. But if I do start lagging or strange things start happening, let me know and I'll just pop downstairs. Accident reports do take a while, like a thorough accident report, because they've got to go through scenarios. They'll go through computer simulations of things like speed and terrain, environmental conditions. They'll map it all, and then they'll play those scenarios. So they do take a while, honestly. So I'm not surprised that they've not said, look, this is an accident, because that in itself, just the accident report takes a while. However, I would expect some news on the autopsy by now. I mean, the toxicology may not be back, but the autopsy will have been done and there will be a report. So what I'm concerned about is why they haven't released anything at all about the autopsy. That's the thing that's on my mind. Hi, Beach Lady, Pat, Sally, Stephen, Diane, Samantha, Birdie, the Big W, Giraffe, feeling battered, waiting in Queens for 13 hours yesterday just to catch up with my channel. Well, I'm glad you did. Who else have we got? I look good in blue. It's not one of my favourite colours, actually, blue. I don't normally wear blue. But I've got this. It's got paint on it. It's old. I've got paint on it. But I just chucked it on because it was there. But thank you. Mrs. Nobody, Cook, 13 Doodle, Mom Me, Chefy Gal. This case is nuts. It is. It is. And that's why I wanted to go back to the beginning today, like on my own, just going through the presses. And I've got a few things I want to play you, just to refresh your mind as well, that I think is still important. I want important things to think about. So I won't be playing like each press conference in turn, in full. I've just got a couple of things from two of the presses that I just want to run by you and see what you think about them. You know, see what you think of them now with that far ahead. And we know more. But we don't know any more facts than we did then, other than that Kiely was found. Kiely was in Prosser Reservoir all along. And we know some things about the position of her body. We know some things about that Adventures with Purpose said. We know some things about roadside assistance guy. So there's things we know, but how much of that is fact? Because we don't know that roadside assistance guy is going to be any help whatsoever. I'm harping on him a lot in videos, but we don't know. I just find it really intriguing, the possibility that she was alive on that Saturday morning. That's why I keep talking about it, because I'm intrigued by it. But we don't know that that was Kiely's vehicle, or if it was Kiely's vehicle, we don't know who was there. So it doesn't really help us that much, to be honest, at the moment. And Adventures with Purpose, obviously, they're experts. They've got the skill. But it is just their opinion, when all's said and done, that they think it's suspicious based on the totality of the evidence that they saw. But it is just their opinion. So what do we really know? But it'd be useful just to think back to... Oh, you like my hair? Thank you. Thank you, Pink. Hi, Vegan Firefly, Tina, Rose, Broken Goth Doll from Northeast UK. I'm Northwest. Just Rena, Samantha, Lexi. Loads of people in. Right, I'm going to skip down to the end now. There's lots of people saying hello. Lots of people saying hello. If you're asking questions at the moment, then I'm probably going to miss them. If it's an accident and still uncovered, a lot of shady goings on with the adult parties and friends. I think that's the big problem, isn't it? That's the big problem, that we've got these friends who are shady. You know, that some of the things that they say don't quite make sense. You know, Sammy's statements have just made her look guilty, even if she isn't, even if she's completely innocent, even if she went home at 12:25 when she said she did. And the only thing wrong that she did was leaving Kiely there, kind of breaking a code of honor amongst friends and leaving Kiely there. She's made herself look worse than she may have been. And then we've got Jagger. Like, he's weird. He's just weird. I don't know. I'm looking at him thinking, I don't like what I see. Like, I thought he was a grieving ex-boyfriend who was still, you know, still holding a torch for her. But now I'm not so sure. I really don't know. And the mum coming out with, you know, telling everybody to mind their own business. I mean, nothing sits quite right with me, really. You know, it just doesn't sit right. So it's not surprising that there's speculations and theories that have got wilder and wilder and wilder as the case has gone on, because it's the kind of information that, in the absence of guidance, if the absence of law enforcement coming out and giving us anything at all, obviously they can't tell us much, and I understand that, but without any form of guidance for weeks now, you know, the media and social media is left to its own devices. And the speculations start getting wilder and wilder. And I think it would be good if law enforcement come out and do a press conference. You know, I hope they don't just put like a statement on social media and expect that to be an update, you know, but I don't know. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I said that, yes, I think it was yesterday or the day before in my video. Absolutely, I think there should be charges. But they did say in the press conferences that they weren't interested in charging people, arresting people for underage drinking or drug taking. But obviously, they just wanted people to come forward, so they don't have to stand by that. But I hope so. I hope there are charges. I hope there are. Yeah, that's all I want. Cause of death and manner of death, if they can. That's all I want from the autopsy. You know, a full report, we may never see it because she's a minor, and that's fine. Her family may want that sealed. But having said that, if it does result in prosecutions in the future and it goes to court, that report will come out. That report will become part of the court papers, so it will come out. They won't be able to keep that secret. Yeah, possibly. Maybe. Possibly. Maybe not. Depends. Well, I don't know what those dogs are doing downstairs. They've taken the opportunity, while I'm upstairs and I'm busy, they've taken the opportunity to go barking outside. And I can knock on the window. Oh, doesn't stop them. Doesn't stop them. Tilly is running. I can see her. She's running up and down the side of the fence. Tilly! Tilly! She's come running in now. Yeah, yes and no. This chair's uncomfortable. I wish I brought my other chair upstairs. What are you doing? Don't go back. Yeah, you're worse than two kids, honestly. I smile at people who have kids who interrupt their lives, because I'd handle kids better than these two clowns running up and down stairs like idiots. I think you're right. I think you are right. But what if Kiely had overdosed? So the signs of lots of drugs in her system, like that would be consistent with an overdose. But there's also signs of drowning. So she was very, very intoxicated, but she also drowned. So that doesn't exclude an accident, and it also doesn't exclude foul play. So yes and no. I'm going to kill these dogs. Not literally, but I'm going to kill them. Tilly! 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 She now realizes. You can hear me. She keeps looking up at the window. I'm just going to have to go and shut the back door in a minute. Okay. What's my favourite colour? Black. Black is my favourite colour, without a doubt. Or grey, depending on what mood I'm in. If I'm in a really, really disgruntled mood, then grey. Otherwise, black. Exactly. Because the thing is, we've only got the friend's words that Kiely was drunk at all. Right? I said in my video today that, you know, me personally, I wouldn't have wanted a child of mine at the age of 16 to go to that kind of party, personally. However, if they did go to a party like that, I'd have wanted to know exactly how they were getting home. And if I'd got a text from that person at 11:30 saying that she was going to, let's imagine Kiely was my daughter, was going to be a bit late, I wouldn't have just texted back. I'd have rung up to get an assessment to see whether they were, what state they were in, right? And if there was any doubt in my mind whatsoever that that person wasn't fit to drive, I would have just gone and picked him up. And I think reading my comments there, I think a lot of people agree with me. Not everybody, but I think a lot of people agree with me that in that circumstance, there needs to be a little bit more care. And yeah, I know we're all wise and benefit of hindsight and all of those cliches, but it is true that if she was drinking, she shouldn't have been driving. Obviously, she shouldn't have been driving. And how much were her family aware of her drinking? Or because something I thought afterwards, when I was editing my video, I thought, oh, I wish I'd said the other side of that, because it's also possible that she wasn't drunk and her mother knew she wasn't drunk, and therefore her mother didn't have any problems with her driving home. And that's why her mother didn't have any problems with her driving home. We don't know, because we've only got the words of the friends. You know, we've got Sammy, who said, oh, she was way too drunk for me to get a lift with her, but then left her anyway. But what if she wasn't? What if that was a lie? What if that was a lie and she was perfectly sober? So the toxicology report is obviously going to tell us that, even if some of the results are inconclusive because she's been in water for 2 weeks. There are still ways in which toxicology results can be gained, but there will be a bigger degree of error in it than if you've got someone who's recently died, who's just died, and they take a blood sample. That look great in green. Do you know what? I don't think I've got anything that's green. A furry cat pillow. I still don't know who bought me that. There's a story behind that cat pillow, this one. It just arrived one day. Now, I do have someone who I used to know on Facebook who had like a little shop, like a Facebook shop, and she made pillows like that. And I said, oh, I like those pillows. I made the comment on Facebook once, but I like those pillows. That looks like my cat Tasha, because I've got a black cat called Tasha. And then that arrived. But the person whose shop it was swore down that she didn't send it. And I've never known who sent it. Isn't that weird? Lovely, totally lovely. But I've never still to this day don't know who sent that. And it was well before I had YouTube. It wasn't like a YouTube present or anything like that. Anyway, I'm way down the chat again. I don't know. Possibly. I would guess yes, but I don't know. But she, you see, with her Kiely being a minor, if this was purely an accident, then yeah, they can seal that report and no one will see it. And all we'll hear from law enforcement is that they've ruled it an accident, so the manner of death is accidental and the cause of death is drowning. That's all we'll hear. And then they'll close the case. But if there are prosecutions in future, as I said before, it doesn't matter what the family say. If that's used as evidence in court, then they can scream and shout and say what they like, but it will be evidence in court, so it will come out. Yeah, it's part of the investigation, though. We do. I'd love to see it, but it is part of the investigation. And if it's not, if it's proved that it isn't, if they rule that it's an accident and that it's just an accidental drowning, then I do want to see that. I do want to see. And I hope that Adventures with Purpose will release it. Well, not the video, but I'll release their full interview. I do want to see that full interview, but I do want to see the video as well. Okay. See if there's any more questions before I start playing these press conferences. And as I said, for people just coming in, I want to play. I've been going through the press conferences myself this afternoon because I thought I'll refresh myself in what law enforcement have said, because there's going to be an update, apparently. One news outlet stated that there's going to be an update from the sheriffs this week sometime, like September 19th onwards, so Monday onwards. So I wanted to refresh my mind on what law enforcement had said. So there's a couple of clips that I want to play. But just catch to see if there's any questions before I do. Yeah, thank you, Trixie Star. Thank you, as always, for modding. They are amazing. Please sub to them. Please do if you've not done already. What about the news that just came out about Jagger and Kate together the night of? I mentioned Jagger and Kate today in my video about them sleeping together. Like somebody had contacted Zavgirl, and Zavgirl had a conversation with this person who's been speaking to Kate, and apparently Kate and Jagger have been sleeping together. Now, was that the night of the party, or was that the night? I understood it to be the night before Kiely was found, but I'm guessing that they may have been sleeping together all along. Just the way Kate was looking at him when they did that interview on Fox 40 News, when they were stood in a parking lot in Reno, the way she looked at him, now she was a little bit enamored by him. I don't see what these girls see in him, but that's just me, and I'm obviously far too old. Maybe that's all it is. Maybe I'm just too old, and actually, he's quite a catch for young women. And I don't know. I don't know. Oh, I've got a super sticker there. It's a fox. I'm so far behind down the chat that it's just popped up on the chat on this screen. Blimey, I am far behind. Thank you so much for the dancing fox. It doesn't come up on StreamYard, like the animations don't come up, but I can see them on YouTube here. I've got YouTube chat up on this screen here. Thank you. Do I think they were planning an escape game that night and she couldn't get out of the car? Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't thought of that. I can't say no. I don't know. I can't say no. It's unlikely. I mean, what would they have been doing? Like playing like escape artists, like let's tie you up in the back and push you in the reservoir and see if you can escape. Who'd agree to that? You know, if she voluntarily agreed to that, who would agree to that? Like, I'd run a mile, but I can't say no. Anything's possible. Because there's also rumours that him and Sammy are together. Living the single life. Yeah, well, they're all living the single life by the looks of things. Yeah, the night before Kiely was found. Alibi, do I think? I don't know whether it would be an alibi the night before Kiely was found, because they wouldn't know that Kiely was going to be found, would they? I'd think it was more like they got together. If it was the first time, they got together to console each other because Adventures with Purpose was there, and they thought they were going to get caught. If indeed it was Jagger and Kate at the Saturday morning at Boca, you know, they both fit the description, but maybe two completely different people. May not even be Kiely's car. We don't know, but I'm so intrigued. I was like, when they played that, when Adventures with Purpose played that clip of him, I must have watched it about 10 times. I like just kept stopping it and playing it back, and like I was just like, oh my gosh, what is this? And I can't get past it. I can't get past it now. So I don't think it would have been an alibi, but yeah, exactly. Not catching anybody's butt, but these girls, I don't know. Don't know. Got a nice car. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm not a car person, so even that wouldn't convince me either. I thought that Kate was dating him, since him and Kiely were not dating. Maybe they are. Maybe it is known that they're dating, but I don't know. But it's just interesting. But it might not be relevant though. That's the thing. That it's an interesting rumor and it might be true. But what if it is? Like, if neither of them have got anything to do with Kylie's disappearance, then it's not relevant at all, is it? Do we know who the other girl with Jagger and Kate was in Reno? I thought it was a boy. And I've heard two names of who that boy might be. But I don't know. Unless there's a girl there as well that I'm not aware of. I know there was another person there because they said, like, the two or the three of us. So Jagger, it was obvious there was another person there. And I think if you look really close, you can get a glimpse at one point. But I did think it was a boy. But I might be wrong. On that. I've not been following anything to do with this anime person. I've not been following it at all. So I don't know. I'm focusing on the friends. I'm focusing on the people that we actually know, that have actually spoken, and then the people immediately around them. Those are the people that I'm focusing on. If there's foul play, the chances are that it's the people who were closest to her in those last few hours, or that last hour, where we've got those really we've got this really conflicting timeline. That's what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in somebody who's popped up on the internet that people are speculating about, because we could say that about anybody, right? We could do a Don Wells, right, and start blaming everybody. You know, you might be involved. We could start doing that, but in the absence of guidance, this is the problem. The absence of guidance and firm facts, then the speculations and theories just get wilder and wilder and wilder. So I'm trying not to deviate too far out of the sphere of the friends. I might be wrong for doing that. I might be missing things for doing that. But it's just that if you get too far out, then you start losing what is actually true, in my opinion. But good on the people who are spending time doing that. You know, it's not a bad thing that people are doing that. It's just not something that I'm going to do at this moment in time. Okay. Right, I'm going to skip down, just to catch to see if there's any more questions. Who's Brenner? Justice for Brenner. Who's Brenner? I don't even want to go there. It's all very sketchy. Studied Honda CRV for a good few hours. That was a 2017. Do you know what I've been doing? I've been watching car videos. Right, I've been watching car videos, and I found that the most useful ones are videos where they're showing like how to fit a car seat. You know, like mum videos, how to fit a car seat and where the belts fit, and the cargo belt that comes down. So there was one person who actually had a 2012 model. And she pulled the cargo strap down from the roof, and it comes all the way down, and it fits. You can like put a child's seatbelt on, like a car seat, in the middle back seat. So the two side seats, like it's 3 seats in the back, the 2 side seats, they've just got the strap over, so you can, just strap your belt over. But if you want to sit in the middle, then you pull it down from the roof, and then you anchor it in, so you can fit a child. You can fit another child's car seat in the middle. And how long it was. Like I didn't want to know how to fit a child's car seat, but it was just the demonstrations of pulling down, the ease of pulling it down, and how far it would stretch. And it definitely would stretch backwards. If it would stretch all the way from the roof. Hello. Are you okay? Good girl. Oh, good girl. Come on. Do you want to come up? What do you want? I'm not going downstairs. I'm not going down. You go down yourself. She wants me to go downstairs. I know what she wants me to do. She wants me to go and play fetch outside. I'm not. I'm busy. I'll play fetch later. I've been playing fetch this afternoon. So sometimes, you don't get your own way. But I'm not sure she was strapped in. I mean, I'm not there yet. I think I said this yesterday in my video. I'm not there yet. I know that there's a strap hanging out the back, but it could be the cargo strap didn't go back into the roof, because you can like pull it down and send it back. And they were using it. She was using it to strap bags in at the back, or she'd used it at some point and then had just not put it back, and it's just like out there. Or it could be a strap from a bag. I'm not convinced that it means that she was strapped in. Is it known if the party was scheduled to end at 12:30? I don't know, but why would they have a set time to finish the party, unless there was another party somewhere else that they'd all planned to go to? Why would they have a set end time? What would that be about? I mean, I understand that there was some people there who would have curfews, that they were like Kiely's age or 17, who would have curfews, who would have to leave. But why would there be a set end time? It's not like they were renting a room or renting a hotel or something like that where there had to be a set end time. I just think that maybe there's a little bit more to that mass exodus than... But it's one of those things. It's one of those things that we've heard. How do we know how many people left at 12:30? How do we know? It may have only been 10 cars that left at 12:30 who were leaving because the party was winding down, who had to go home because they had a curfew or they were going somewhere else. We don't know whether it was a mass exodus. We're all calling it that, but we don't know. It's rumors. It's things we've heard. It's not fact. We don't know. But because it's so intriguing, who's Kate? You've not been watching my videos, Birdie. Kate is the friend of Kiely, who Kiely was with on the day of the party. So on the afternoon of the party, Kate and Kiely made creme brulee. And Kate actually said that in an interview when her and Jagger were interviewed by Fox 40 News. And I'm not going to play it because the copyright claiming every single clip. When I play, even if I only play like 20 seconds of a clip from that interview, the copyright claiming it. So I'm not going to play it. Oh, these dogs are killing me. Right, I'm just going to go and shut the back door because they're driving me insane. So just a sec, I won't be long. I'm back. Now they'll bug me that they want to go back out. I can't win. Excuse me. So, yeah. So she was with Kate on the day of the party. So my question is, where was Kate on the evening of the party? Because apparently Kate didn't go to the party. Well, where was she? I want to know where she was, and I've not got an answer to that. I want to know where she was. Her and Jagger went to Reno, which is a town just over the border in Nevada, to search there because they thought she would be in Reno. So the interview that they did with Fox 40 News was them in a parking lot in a, I don't know, it was KFC or something in Reno. So that's who Kate is. But it's a good question. I always thought Jagger was innocent. I always thought he was innocent, but I really don't know now. I really don't know. I really don't know. They do all look alike, yeah. Okay. Steve. Steve's one of the names that I've heard of the other person who was there in Reno. I've also heard Nate, but I think it was a boy. Going back to who was there. All right, let's get into just these clips. Is that the Dylan Rounds case? I don't know what you're looking at. Do I know anything about the two gas stations? No, I don't. I don't. We know that she stopped at one at 6:08 because she was caught on surveillance. But no, I didn't know that she stopped at another one as well. Where's the phone? We don't know where the phone is. That's the best question. Where is the phone? We don't know where the phone is. Now, there was that claim, I think it was, what's his name? SF Investigators, who said this. Now, choose to believe him or not. I think it was him. But when the Check It TV, and there was another diver there, and law enforcement turned up, when they brought the laptop up, apparently one of the deputies who turned up said, "Is the phone down there? Have you found the phone?" We don't know. We don't know. We don't know if law enforcement have got the phone or whether the phone is still missing, and why. Why do they not even? Do they not want to look for the phone? Oh, Jim Brenner from the Dylan Rounds case. I don't think Jim Brenner's innocent, honestly. But that's just my opinion. I don't think it would have been loud. I don't think it would have been loud at all, honestly. Because it's not like it's falling from a great height. Like if it literally did a nosedive off a cliff like that, that would have made a big noise. But it was a sliding. So either it would have driven down and in, there wouldn't have been a big noise at all, or it would have been pushed down. So it's a 10-meter elevation change from the top of that hill where the road ends to the water's edge. So if it was pushed in, it would have just gone down and gone in, floated in. So I don't think it would have been a big noise, honestly. I might be wrong. There would have been some noise, but I don't think it would have been a big noise. I don't think it would have been an obvious noise that people would have heard from the campground or people would have heard from the party. I really don't. Because it's surprising how far away the water is from the campground where there's campers, like Prosser Campground. There's another campground that's closer, that's called Group Campground or something. And then there's a sanctuary where they were having their party. And it's like 300 to 600 yards away. And you can't see the water from the sanctuary. You just can't. Like the elevation's wrong. Even if you had good visibility, the elevation change is wrong. So I don't think anyone would have seen the car go in, honestly, or heard it. Got a super chat coming there. Thank you, Donna. I'll look at it on this screen. $4.99, a little Tweety bird, I think. Thank you, Donna. Very kind. Anyway, right, let's... wouldn't she have screamed? Again, if she screamed, she probably did scream if she was conscious, but no one would have heard her. No one would have heard her. And if there was party noises still going on, they definitely wouldn't have heard her. But that's assuming that she went into the lake on the Friday. Well, it's the very early hours of Saturday. Like 12:33 when that phone ping, when that last phone ping happened. If it was shortly after that, there were still people out there doing stuff at the party. I mean, look, if we believe the timeline, has anybody seen the timeline? I mentioned it in a video. I think I've mentioned it a couple of times in a video. Thank you, Brenda, for the $10 and I don't know what that is. A dancing avocado, I think. I do love me a bit of avocado, I've got to say. But thank you so much. They look better on YouTube because they look like they're dancing. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, the timeline that Sleuthy Goosey from Twitter's been putting together. I mentioned it a couple of times in a video, and I'm not taking this as fact because we don't know. Sleuthy Goosey behind the scenes is talking to people. So I think Elsa is one, that's Sammy's friend. But we don't know who else. But according to Elsa, she saw Kiely after Sammy left. And she offered Kiely a lift. And that was after 12:30. And Kiely said no, and she went to the car on her own. So that would have been like 12:40 or something like that. But then, apparently, according to this timeline, and again, this is just rumor and hearsay because we don't know how much of it is true or fact or anything. There was a fight that almost broke out between two boys, and one of them blocked the roadway with his car, like drove his car horizontally, so it blocked the roadway. For how long, don't know, but obviously just being an arse and did that. But Kiely, if Kiely got in her car and left, she would have already left by that point. But the point is that people did see Kiely, allegedly, after Sammy left, and it would have been probably after 12:33. So the last phone ping at 12:33, may not be the point that Kiely went in the water. And that's one of the clips I want to play you. So let's get to that. Let's get to that. Okay, I think this is the clip actually that I've got here about the phone ping. Okay. All right. So I'll mute out. Let me know if there is an echo. It's only like a couple of minutes, this clip. And the volume isn't great on this at all. So I'll put the CCs on and hopefully that will help a little bit, but the volume isn't great. The volume isn't great on any of these press conferences, I'm afraid. So, okay, let's play this. Let me know if there's an echo.
Thank you.
Angela, can you or the officers behind you confirm that her phone, Kiely's phone, the last ping was near the water?
Yeah, the ping for the data points and everything were near the water. It's hard to tell an exact pinpoint or anything like that, but just as much on land as it was on water.
That's what I was told, is that it was near the water and searches took place near that vicinity. Are those going to continue?
Yeah, today we have 226 searchers, pretty astronomical number. I think the overhead team at the search and rescue they deployed out all 226 members within about an hour. And so that's a pretty big feat on its own. They've extensively been planning and prepping overnight so that when people get here, we're ready.
I'll let this play for another couple of minutes, but just to address that phone ping question there. He said, he made this bizarre thing that it was just as much on land as in water. So the phone ping at 12:33, and in another one of the clips, or it may be just a bit later on in this one, but I think it's in the next press conference, where he states 12:33. However, that might not be the last time that phone was active, but it was around the reservoir. But because there's a radius, like they can't pinpoint exactly where the phone was during that ping, there's always going to be a little bit of an error. There might be quite a few meters error depending on where the signal's being triangulated from. So I did an experiment with my own phone for my members. If you're a member of MichelleAfterDark, go and find that video. It'll be in the Kiely Rodni playlist, but it's just there for it, only members will be able to see it. But I did an experiment with my phone, a phone that I don't normally use, and my MacBook, and the signals were kind of just moving. I was using Find My iPhone, and the signals were kind of moving, and it looked like I was in my neighbour's yard. It looked like I was in my neighbour's house over the other way, and that's quite a way away. And they were moving because these signals they're not stationary. Like every ping, it's triangulating off the three closest towers or something. I'm not exactly sure how it works. So it's not a definite pinpoint. Like it could be quite a few meters or yards out. So we don't know. We don't know if that was the last time that phone was active. Is the point, and we don't know exactly where that last phone ping was. But because it was so close to the reservoir, they spent an exhaustive amount of time at that reservoir, as we'll see. I'm just going to let this play for a couple more minutes because he's talking about the search. And then I want to skip to the next press conference. So this press conference was from the 13th of August, which would have been... I'm going to have to look on my calendar here. 13th of August would have been, so Kiely's phone pinged at 12:33 on the 6th. That was the Saturday. So this is a week into, so this was Saturday the 13th of August. So this was a week So he talks a little bit about the searching and where they're up to with the search. So I'll just let this play for a little while longer.
Ready to roll. The area has been walked, driven, flown, grid searched. They're getting into tighter grid searching to, at this point we're looking for small and anything evidence wise, as opposed to cars, people, things of that nature, even phones. We're trying to make it even tighter. We had swimmers we announced the other day that actually did surface swimming, so we don't want to disturb the water even underneath, because that can cause its own problems. And divers have been deployed at this point as well to assist in the search, and it's been pretty thorough overall. But yeah, we continue to look for that item as well. Just because it was last pinged there, that doesn't mean that that's where the phone stopped being. There's lots of reasons of why those notifications or data points could be lost.
Could you tell us what body of water and what time that last ping was?
The Prosser Lake is where we're focused on right now. But again, that doesn't mean that that's the last location. So
When was the ping that you had?
I think the last location known that we've put out, from I think day one is around 12:30 in the morning.
There was, this morning I was out by Prosser and there was a dive team from Alameda. But just a few feet to the side, there were people recreating and
Dry performance.
people going by in a canoe. Are you not afraid about them disturbing any possible evidence that could be there?
Yeah, you balance this, shut everybody out, and we don't have evidence to say that there's something that we're going to locate. Are you better off having more eyes in the area or not? There's times where we have shut down areas. We closed off the boat ramp at one point in time to cover like certain area and ground and things like that. So there's always a concern, but we also don't have like a, hey, this is the area. And so at what point do you cut off the entire, Forest Service and things of that nature? So I think we've been reasonable with the areas, and times we've had to put in stop gaps to prevent people from moving around, but we do that based off of information. More people around gives us information, but they've been recreating throughout that lake since long before. And so it is tough. A diving operation like that is really almost like you're going into the water blind, and they're basically searching with hands, because once you start maneuvering the ground, it's like going through mud. So these are tough operations, and there is no right answer for everything, but that's always a concern. Everything is.
Do you know about how deep it is right now? Because the water level is so low, below the natural level.
The deepest point for Prosser that I was told was 57 feet.
Did you have divers out there today and swimmers today?
Divers, yes, today. I don't know if they have swimmers out today. Swimmers was a precaution so that we could ensure, to clarify, because there's so many levels to this. We had boats, we had side sonars, which allow you to see things, certain types of fish finders, which can go lower down into the water. But at that point, we still hadn't touched the ground or anything like that. So swimmers on the surface allowed to use masks and see things without murking up the water, just to cover if there's something you could see. Because once you touch the ground, you could potentially have all that earth come back up over any kind of evidentiary item. So divers were the last case scenario in the attempt, because for the most part, you could go in over and over and over again, but potentially you get one shot at it. So trying to use a phased approach that makes the most sense and gets us to where we want to be.
And my apologies, I'm new to the area. How large is that lake?
I don't know. It's not a very big lake overall. It's a man-made reservoir. And I believe as large as it is, I believe we have extremely good coverage on that lake as well.
And what's the name of the dive team?
There's a lot of teams out there, so I don't know specifically. I know Alameda was mentioned. I don't know which all teams were brought in, simply because they all showing up today, and then some have been added. But I can tell you that numerous agencies from all over California are coming up to assist. 226 searchers is a pretty large number. We're expecting the same tomorrow.
Do you expect to go back in the water tomorrow?
Depending. It all depends on coverage, right? We want to use our resources for the best purposes. There's bodies of water that we're also interested in. We've been checking, but we have to have purpose and reason for what we're using our searchers for.
Are you also calling on the public to help in these like land searches, maybe terrain searches, or is it just law enforcement right now?
Our searchers are volunteers, the majority of them, but they also go through a training. So Cal OES has a typing system. So when the sheriff's office is going to utilize searchers for a specific purpose, they have to be trained up. They have to have all these things, and they're covered under what's called a disaster service worker. So workers' comp like is picked up by the state in case of things that could go wrong or injuries and whatnot. Where
I'll stop that there because there's quite a few things that just in that couple of minutes that I want to pick up on. And thank you, Tracy, for the $4.99. Was her car put in the water after they searched? How did they miss it? It's always possible that the car was hidden somewhere. Let's go down the route of foul play. That the car was hidden somewhere and it was put in after they thought that the searches had finished at Prosser. That's always possible. Always possible. However, once that search was underway, when would they have had the chance to do that without the possibility of them being caught? Now, they could have gone in the dead of night. You know, they weren't searching at night. So, yeah, they could have done. They could have gone at night and taken that risk. But there was people staying there, like in the area. Like some of the searchers were staying there. So there was a big risk. However, as I've mentioned in a few videos, the searches did not start at all until the 7th. The searches did not start. Organised searches did not start until the 7th. The first social media from Placer County Sheriff's was 5:41 p.m. California time on Facebook. That was the first call to the public that someone was missing. And then it was a few minutes later than that on Twitter. Placer County Sheriff's made a post on Twitter as well. But 5:41 p.m. on the 6th. So if we take the timeline, 12:33 a.m. on the 6th, the last ping. Then we've got roadside assistance guy saying that he may have seen Kiely or Kiely's vehicle at Boca Reservoir, which is about half an hour away to the northeast of Prosser, about 11 a.m. on the 6th, which may or may not be Kiely and may or may not be Kiely's vehicle. And then we don't have anybody from law enforcement making any sort of, you know, call to the public to be on the lookout until 5:41. So hours. So if something had happened to Kiely and they decided to, and it was foul play, and they decided to go to Prosser and put her car in the lake on the 6th, they had the whole day to do that before there was even people aware that Kiely was missing, apart from a few of her friends, because she was meant to be going camping on that Saturday on the 6th, and her mother went to the meeting point, which was a Starbucks, at 9 a.m. to see whether Kiely turned up there, and she didn't, obviously. So some of her friends were aware, and they started to put the word out, but law enforcement weren't contacted at that point. Now, we don't know, it's never been stated, as far as I'm aware, what time the missing persons report was made. We don't know that piece of information. However, we do know that it was 5:41 p.m. California time that the first social media post went out, and that was on Facebook. And as I said, I think it was 5:46 on Twitter. So there was the whole day on the 6th for whoever, if this was foul play, for somebody to decide what to do. But to answer this question, could it have been put in at a later date after the searches at Prosser? Yeah, possibly. Yeah. But I wonder whether it was missed because they were just very bad at searching. And this is what one of the points I want to bring up about what's his name? Captain Sam Brown, Captain. Is it Sam Brown? I think it's Sam Brown, the captain, anyway, from Nevada County Sheriff's Office. This chair is real uncomfortable. If I use this room again for live streaming, I'm going to bring my other chair from downstairs up because this one's uncomfortable. Do I have a cushion? Yes. I've got a bad back, so I'm always funny about chairs. Always. Oh, that's better. A little bit. Okay, so they shut the boat ramp. He mentioned shutting the boat ramp. They shut the boat ramp on the Tuesday. So that would have been the, let's have a look here. That would have been the 9th. They shut the boat ramp on the 9th. I know this because Mail Online posted some pictures on the 9th and the 10th. I think they were there for 2 days of the boat ramp being shut. There was police tape, crime scene tape and stuff all around it. There was loads of like vehicles there. So the first search, the first organised search of Prosser Reservoir was on the 9th. And I think they did 2 days. They may have even done 3 days, right? But then on this presser here, this presser that we've just been listening to, on the 13th, he mentioned that they'd been out there again. So they'd been there the 9th, the 10th. They were out there again that weekend. And they'd had swimmers out there because what they didn't want to do was disturb the bottom. I've got a bit of a problem with that. Now, look, I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert on water searches by any means. I'm not an expert on any kind of searching, apart from dogs. I know quite a lot about dog searches. However, if you're looking for something small, like a phone, I would imagine that disturbing the bottom is going to be a problem because, it's going to kick up mud and stuff. But when you're looking for something as large as a vehicle, I'm not sure that rationale quite works for me. But it is alleged, and this is only an allegation, it is alleged that they did not search all of these days, all of these teams, these different dive organisations that went out there. The Placer County Sheriffs went there. The Mail Online photos show a boat, Placer County Sheriffs on the side of the boat with the sonar equipment on it, right? So they obviously didn't understand how to read the sonar properly. I think that's one of the problems. So they had swimmers in around the edges, right? And they had divers in, but they didn't want to disturb the bottom. But it's alleged that they concentrated on the boat ramp area and they missed the area that was actually closest to the party. The boat ramp was all the way over the other side of the reservoir. But for whatever reason, they focused on the boat ramp. But the place where Kiely's car went in was the closest that was possible to the sanctuary where the party was. But they just didn't search there, it is alleged, because there was a fisherman there. That's one of the stories I've heard. Now, I don't know whether that's true. Again, it's another rumour because we've got no facts. But that's what's been alleged, that a fisherman was there. But there can't have been a fisherman there every single time that they went to search that lake, can there? What, just a guy on a boat with, with a fishing rod there for days on end? No. So they've just missed it. Now, have they missed it because it wasn't there? Or have they missed it because the search team was rubbish? All of these different search teams were rubbish and didn't know how to search a lake properly. Because this is not a big lake and it's not a deep lake. Right, the deepest point I got a fishing map that has like the depths and stuff. So like some fishing website, right? I found, and Prosser Reservoir on this map that I found, it was 75 feet just on one place, but it was right over the other side. But he said 57, but it's because that's a man-made reservoir. So when they move like the water around, the water levels change a lot. But there's only one area that's really deep. So it's a good question, but hey, we don't know. But back to this phone ping, right? So he did, it was this clip that I said he said more. There's loads of reasons why a phone might lose a connection with a cell tower. Now, in some press conferences, they said that phone was turned off. They actually said that phone was turned off. But they haven't consistently said that, right? And there's a multitude of reasons why a phone might lose connection with a cell tower, other than it being switched off. So the last phone ping being 12:33 does not mean that that's necessarily the time when Kiely went in the lake and the phone got destroyed, or somebody broke her phone or turned it off and stole it. It doesn't necessarily mean that. It could mean that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that, because there's a multitude of other reasons why a phone might lose connection with a cell tower. So is it possible that Kiely did ring Sammy at 12:36, as Sammy's claimed? Because we've all been saying Sammy must be lying or Sammy's mistaken. But something I thought of, which I don't think has any merit, but I'll say it anyway. If she connected to Wi-Fi, she could have rung Sammy using a Wi-Fi signal. Now, Wi-Fi comes off a router, right? We all know how Wi-Fi works. It comes off a router. It doesn't come off a cell tower, right? Like your data, like 4G or 5G, it's off a cell tower, right? That's how you can walk about. But if you're in a Wi-Fi range, then you can make calls and texts and do stuff using Wi-Fi, which doesn't ping off a tower. Now, there'll be a trace of it, obviously, on the phone, but not on a cell tower, not in a cell dump, a cell tower dump. But where, this is why I've discounted it and I've not mentioned it, because I thought about it and I thought, no, it can't be possible, because where would Kiely have been that would have got Wi-Fi? Like, if it pinged at 12:33 at Prosser Reservoir or thereabouts, like in the area of the party, where could she have gone in 3 minutes that would have given her a Wi-Fi signal, that would have connected to Wi-Fi, and then she would have rung Sammy off the Wi-Fi? Because it doesn't look like there's anywhere within 3 minutes that there'd be a Wi-Fi signal, because it doesn't look like there's any buildings or anything. So I don't know. Yeah, but if you were using a hotspot, right? So let's say, for example, I took my laptop out, right? Because and right, I'll come back to that in a minute, Patty. But something else that people have been talking about that I've got a question about, that people are saying that it might be the laptop that pinged at 12:33 and not the phone. But that can't be true, because MacBooks do not have cell service. Right? Thank you, Jennifer, for the $5 and a little, I don't know what that is, a little man or a little bird or something sniggering and laughing. Thank you, the $5. Excuse me. Right, look, I'm speaking to you off a MacBook Air, and this is the 2020 version. So it's the first generation of the M1 chip. So it's an up-to-date laptop. I'm looking at YouTube on a MacBook Pro, which is almost new. Right, that's the very latest version with the all singing, all dancing, M1 plus all the bells and whistles, right? Which I never use because I'm scared of using it. I'm scared of breaking it, right? Excuse me. Neither of these state-of-the-art computers, right, have data service, right? They're Wi-Fi only. So that laptop cannot ping off a cell tower. It cannot ping off a cell tower. Okay. But if there's Wi-Fi in the area, then it's gonna be possible to connect it to Wi-Fi. Now, this is where Patty's question comes in. Can you use a hotspot? Well, if you've got your phone with you, right? If I took my MacBook Air out, I would never take my MacBook Pro out, but if I took my MacBook Air out into the fields and wanted to do some work in the middle of the fields, it would not get a wireless service. It would not be connected to Wi-Fi, but I could hotspot it. So I could use my data on my phone as a signal. So the signals come in from the satellite, the cell people, to my phone, and then my computer's using my phone as a router. So it thinks it's connected to Wi-Fi, but it's not. It's connected to my phone. It's using my data off my phone. That's a hotspot. But if your phone is turned off or is broken, then it's not going to be used as a hotspot. It can't be used as a hotspot. This is a great point. This is a great point. Oh, I've lost it now. Oh, I hate that. This is not the great point, but it's a good point. What about a wireless card on a laptop? I have one. You can get them. So that's possible. That's possible. But do we know that Kiely had one? Right? Because you can get those. They used to be called dongles. They used to be plug a dongle in. So that's possible. That is possible. That's true. That's absolutely true. That you don't, if you've no cell service, you can connect to Wi-Fi, but you can only connect to Wi-Fi if there's a router in the vicinity that you can connect to, right? So that you have a password for, or, you know, some Wi-Fi routers are open, right? But is there anywhere around the campground within 3 minutes of the phone ping? Remember, there's a hard wired into the timeline part of this 1233 that is a fact that we've got from law enforcement. It's one of the only facts we've got, so let's use it. There's a phone ping off a cell tower at 12:33, right? 12:33 a.m. And then she rang Sammy at 12:36. So is it possible that she rang Sammy off Wi-Fi? Because if she doesn't have cell service, for whatever reason, she's lost cell service, if she can connect to Wi-Fi somewhere, then she can ring Sammy. But the great point was, and I have lost it. Here we go. Does the car have Wi-Fi? Does the car have Wi-Fi? Does the 2013 model of the Honda CR-V have a Wi-Fi capacity? Is the question. That is a great point. That is a great point. Can we find that out? Because it could be that Kiely was using her phone. She got in her car and she was using her phone on her car's Wi-Fi. That is a great point. However, you've just dashed my hopes here. No, they shouldn't have Wi-Fi in a 2013. It's quite an old car, isn't it? Yeah, just catch me on the replay. Just catch me on the replay. I had a 2013 Honda Pilot and it wasn't an option. I have emergency Wi-Fi in certain areas where I live. Could come from satellites. Perhaps she was in an area that offered it. Does OnStar allow you to make calls? So most people are saying that they don't think so. Okay, got a 2017 and a 22 CRV and neither have Wi-Fi. There we go. So no, I don't think. Oh, 2014 has a Wi-Fi option. Okay. So maybe it depends. Maybe it depends on not the year, but whether that car has got all bells and all whistles, right? So that's the only way that I could think that she could call Sammy, is if she did it off Wi-Fi. But I've never mentioned it before because I couldn't see how it could be possible. But there's the car is an option, but most people are saying, no, maybe not, wouldn't have had it. Oh, you can make phone calls with OnStar. You get an OnStar phone number. All right. So next question then is, did Sammy speak to Kiely via OnStar? But we don't even know whether, well, there's the equivalent of Honda has its own version of OnStar, right? I don't know what it's called, but it's the equivalent of. We could we need to find out. We need to find out. So it's possible. Wi-Fi's on the table. It's unlikely, but it's possible. But in the general scheme of things, does it really matter? I think it does, because people have been thinking, as I was for a long time, that 12:33 was the time that Kiely's car went in that lake and Kiely drowned. And it's absolutely possible that she did. You know, in an accident scenario, she drove away at 12:30 or just after, went the wrong way and ended up in the lake, right? That's still on the table. We can't discount it. It's still on the table. Yes, there's lots and lots of problems with it. How did she end up in the backpack? But it's possible. And the phone ceased working because she went in the lake. But it's important to track the possibility that she was alive and well after that, because if we can get reports that Kiely was alive and well after that, then we can inch that timeline forward into what happened next, because that's where all of the information stops, apart from the little bits and pieces that Elsa is allegedly saying to Sleuthy Goosey. Is Elsa telling the truth? We don't know. But Elsa's timeline only takes us up to about 12:40 or 12:45. So it doesn't take us very much further forward. So the big gap is what happened after. We can inch it forward from 12:33 because law enforcement have told us that that's not necessarily the last time that phone was active. We can inch it forward a few minutes, but we can't inch it forward any further. Honda Link, there we go. So the Honda version of OnStar is Honda Link. Was there stuff next to her car underwater? Well, there was, because there was a window open. So stuff fell out, and stuff fell out when they rolled the car because they didn't net the windows. They didn't block the windows up. So there was loads of stuff left on the bottom of the lake that law enforcement didn't think was important and didn't think to pick up. So yeah, there was. It's all sorts. Like the divers, like Check It TV, brought up her laptop, a laptop case, a bag, a big duffel bag that was empty, a hat, what else? Hairbrush. There was various things that they brought up. There was other things as well they said that they weren't going to mention. I don't know whether that would have been drug paraphernalia, maybe. But allegedly not the phone. So the phone is still missing, as far as we know. As far as we know. Okay. I don't have it, but some cell companies offer a separate device that is a hotspot. Yeah, so it's the I used to have with my old phone contract when I had years ago, because I've had the same company for ages, but I got a dongle and you could plug it into a laptop. But it was before phones had hotspot capacity. I think this kind of dongle idea and card idea kind of died out a little bit. It certainly has in the UK. Now, it might not have done everywhere, but I stopped using a dongle to use my laptop like elsewhere when I just had a phone that I could hotspot my laptop off. So you can like sit on a train and work or do whatever, watch YouTube, or sit in a field and watch YouTube. Not that I do, but you could with your phone as your hotspot. Okay, right. I'm going to play another clip now. It's from another conference. So, which one is it? Hold on. I'm glad I put all these on my channel. This one, I think, August 15th. So we've watched some of August 13th. There wasn't one on August 14th because that would have been the Sunday. So this is now Monday, August the 15th. So hold on, I'll just let that ad play. I'll let that ad play and give myself a few pence while we're talking, because it's playing off my channel behind the scenes. So there's a couple of minutes of this one. There's actually a few minutes of this one that I want to play because this one is the last press conference they did. So on the 13th, they were all gung-ho, ready to go. You know, we're going to do all this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. We're not going to stop. And then 2 days later, the very next press conference, then they said they were changing the way that they worked, which I think is, in hindsight, is really interesting. Okay. In hindsight, I think that's really interesting because roadside assistance guy said it was a week, right, that he saw Kiely's poster, missing poster, in you were just talking about me, Tia Dash. Well, my ears were burning. Excuse me. So roadside assistance guy saw Kiely's missing poster in a shop, a coffee shop in Reno where he lives. And that was a week after, right? So he called the cops and said, I think I saw that girl. And his company shut down the dash cam footage, they shut down the call logs, and they sent it all to law enforcement. Now, when did law enforcement, and now there's no answer to this, we don't know, but if law enforcement received that tip exactly a week, so that would be the Saturday the 13th, if that's when they received that tip, did they change their strategy of how they were going to work because of that tip? Now, that's an open question because we don't know exactly when that call was made. Like roadside assistance guy said a week. Now, we don't know whether it was a week or, 7 days or 8 days. It could have been 9 days. And he said about a week. I'm just intrigued by the way that they were gung-ho ready to go on the 13th. And then by Monday, the 15th, they'd completely changed everything. Now, were they going to change everything anyway? Or was it because of that tip? I don't know, but let's listen to a few minutes of this, because this is when they start talking about the setting up a task force. So I'll mute out and play some of.
Good afternoon, everybody. So obviously our search for Kiely continues, and we're trying to do the best that we can to keep things moving in a positive way and attempt to find some clues and locate some idea of where we need to get to. We've been working pretty close with the family, trying to make sure that we're providing them with up-to-date information, but also try to protect from a lot of the ups and downs that have occurred throughout this whole ordeal. We are still looking for any clues, videos, tips, any information to help us to put pieces together and help us to direct where we're going and how we're going to continue to do a search. We are moving into a more limited but continuous search and rescue effort. We've pulled in a ton of resources towards that goal. And I think to date, we've had over like 9,000 man hours into searching, which is pretty astronomical. Our biggest problem is where do we go and how do we keep sustaining this? And so we do have some plans that were continued. Our team, our overhead team, worked extremely hard into long hours and continues to work to this day on creating plans that we can continue to follow up on. But we are going to have to switch modes and kind of focus on the investigative end and try to figure out where do we go from there. We still want all eyes and ears out there. We're coming into hunting season. We're hoping for people to have eyes out all over the place. And we're going to continue to put all of our efforts in as a unified command and continue to try to do our best as we move forward. So in the last 10 days that we've been searching, there's been an incredible effort. There's too many agencies, too many people to thank, but it has been pretty astronomical. The resources from air support to ground support to divers and swimmers and you name it, we probably called and asked for it. And I would say that the majority of resources came in a relatively quick period of time. As we start to transition into more of the background investigative stuff that's been going on and really putting emphasis on that, we continue to work with the detectives. The Nevada County Sheriff's Office is highly invested in that end, as we have been from the very beginning. And we're going to continue to try to do the best that we can to keep things moving forward. The biggest thing that I'd like to say from our end on the search effort is we really appreciate the outpouring of support that's been from the community, from the family, and everything that's been going on. The community members and even folks from outside the community coming in to help look for Kiely and continue doing that search on their own as well is extremely important and has helped us with a lot of, hey, where should we go and how do we do it? I've never seen such great support, but I want to make sure that everybody stays in a positive mode and continues to move forward, because we still need people to have their eyes and ears out there and keep working towards the goal. And our goal, which has never changed from the beginning, is to find Kiely Rodni. Thanks.
I'd like to now introduce Placer County Sheriff's Lieutenant Josh Barnhart for the most recent update on the investigation.
Good afternoon. I would like to also thank Kiely's family for their continued support in this effort. It has truly been a feat. I'd like to commend the community for coming together to support us and all of their search and rescue efforts. I'd like to commend our own search and rescue and detectives, and also you, our media partners, for helping us put out the word about Kiely. We are committed to following through on all the tips that we receive. We are continuing to investigate leads from those tips. Today, we have 50 plus detectives that are out and about interviewing and following up on those tips. We've married up with the FBI, our detectives in the FBI, to go out and do that. Another request is for more video. If anyone has more video that they have not submitted, please, there's no small amount of information for us. And more witness accounts from the party. If you have not come forward, if you were there and you saw something, please come forward and let us know. In closing, I'd like to say that we're putting the pedal down, that we're continuing to move forward this week, and that after this week, we will be modifying things to a task force style. That means our resources will continue to move forward, but in somewhat of a different manner. Thank you.
So they go into questions now. So I'm not going to play any more of that. That was just the kind of the briefing from Nevada County and then Placer County. Thank you, Sasha, for the 20, is it 20? Yeah, 20 Canadian dollars. Thank you so much. That is very generous of you. I feel for them as well. I do, honestly. I do. I think they tried hard. I think the search teams, the amount of people that went out there, the volunteers, the different organizations that went out there worked really hard, and we can't take that away from them. But there was a lack of something. There was a lack of something regarding searching the lake. There's a lack of something. Now, whether it's a lack of expertise, whether it was just they missed a spot, and it just so happened that they missed the wrong, they missed that spot. I don't know, something went wrong with the lake, but we can't take away the fact that there was a lot of people out there really trying hard to find Kiely. We can't take that away from them. We really can't. So when I heard that press conference, right, at the time, I didn't stream it live. I used to listen to them and think about them and then put them on my channel and talk about them like the day after. I didn't think anything of that press conference. It's perfectly normal for them. After a week or 2 weeks, they have to stop at some point. They have to stop that acute phase where there's everybody, all of that energy, all of those resources, the time, the money. They can't keep that going forever, can they? They have to stop sometime. And that acute phase then winds down. And yes, the searches that continue, but they're more targeted, right? Think about the Summer Wells case, right? They were all out there it was 13 days that they were all out there in that terrain. And then after that, it became targeted searches, specific things. Or there was like EquiSearch came out and did some targeted searches, but it wasn't let's look at, start at ground zero and work out and do as much as we can. It's not that. It becomes much more targeted. And the time and the resources go into what I call the desk operation, but it's basically an investigative phase. And it's looking through the tips and developing theories that they'll test, that they'll try to refute, that they'll use a methodology to go through that investigative process. And it will be the detectives and the people who literally sat at desks who do this work. And then they'll go out and they get a lead, they'll go out and do some interviews, or they'll bring people in and do interviews, or they'll go out and do some targeted searches based on the tips that come in and based on the theories that they're developing. That's how investigations work, right? However, was it a coincidence that they stopped, right? Summer Wells, they did 13 days and then they stopped. For, you know, they didn't stop, that they just entered the investigative phase. Thank you so much, Cheryl, for the $19.99. I am amazing. It was avocado. I've got an avocado downstairs. I might have my avocado. It might not be ripe enough yet. Oh, I hope it is. People keep sending me avocados, and I love avocados, but they have to be really, really ripe, like really soft. I don't like avocados when they're hard. You've got to have them really, really, really soft and squashy on toast. It's the best thing in the world. Best thing in the world. Avocados aren't great for the environment, though, so I don't have them all the time. I just have them as a little treat for myself. Anyway, Summer Wells, they did 13 days. They tend to do about 2 weeks, right? But it will depend. It will depend on the resources. It will depend on other investigations that are going on. It will depend on a variety of things. But this stopped after a week, right? So on Saturday the 13th, they did a press conference and they were gung-ho, ready to go. They were going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. Listen to the conference. It's on my channel. It's on this channel that I'm speaking to you at now. And it's labeled in the title, press conference, August the 13th. Go and listen to it. And they were all about the search. They were all about the search. And then on Monday, 2 days later, they completely flipped it. They completely changed it. And we're not doing this now. We're going targeted. We've got a task force. It's a better use of resources. Was that a coincidence, or was that because of roadside assistance guy's tip? I don't know the answer. You don't know the answer. It's just something that I thought about this afternoon while I was listening to these press conferences. Knowing what we know now, was it? Was the change in their focus because of that tip? I don't know. And I don't even know whether it means anything. I'm just intrigued. Evil exists in the house. Where is evil exists? I'm seeing people talking. Oh, there we go. Seeing people saying hello to evil exists. Hello, fellow creator. Evil exists in the house. I don't know. What do you think? I think it's a good possibility. It's a good possibility. I might be wrong. I might be totally wrong, because they might not have even if roadside assistance guy had called in on Saturday and they'd sent that stuff over on the Saturday, which would have been the 13th. Did they even get round to looking at that tip by the Monday or not? We don't know. It's just intriguing me. It's intriguing me. That's all I'm going to say. And because I'm totally intrigued about roadside assistance guy, I just have to know. I have to know, because potentially that changes everything. Or it might change nothing, because it might not have been Kiely's car. It might not have been Kiely's car. And if it was Kiely's car, it might have been Kiely. But what happened to her? It still doesn't tell us anything. It doesn't tell us anything. All it does is pushes the timeline forward a few hours. But what it does do is it rules out an accident, as in drunk, went the wrong way and rolled into the lake. It rules that one thing out. It rules that out. Thank you for the $10, Tia Dash. Respect my channel very much. Really love my coverage. Plus, Tilly and Cassie help so much. They do. They help calm things down. They help calm things down. Give her like a good distraction at times, you know, when we're talking about these horrible subjects. You know, a little bit of Cassie and Tilly, you know, change of pace a little bit partway through the video. I do. I hope we do. I really hope we do. I really hope we do. He probably, I don't know, if he saw the flyer, if he saw the missing flyer and he just called that number, then that number was for Placer County Sheriffs. But if he didn't call that number and he just called his own county sheriff, I don't know, because he lives in Reno, so I don't know what county that would have, what county that would be. But I would imagine that he would have just called the tip line, which was Placer County Sheriffs, but I don't know. Can't tell you that. Possibly. This is why I'm doing this live. Morgan, this is why I'm doing this live. I said right at the beginning, but obviously you might have just come in. That we got some news from, was it News Nation that said it? I think it was News Nation. Who said that there's going to be an update from the sheriffs next week. So that would be week beginning the 19th. So on Monday. Now, we don't know whether the statement's going to come on Monday or whether it's just going to be at some point during next week, right? We also don't know whether it's just going to be a written statement on social media or whether it's going to be a press conference. If it's a press conference, then I'll try and stream it live and then we're going to have a discussion about it because it's going to be the first update we've had from law enforcement since Adventures with Purpose. What was it, the 22nd? Was it 22nd or 21st? 21st or 22nd, anyway. So I'll be streaming it and we can discuss it after. If it's just a written statement, then I may come live. It depends what they say. If it's just like, oh, we're still working on it. If it's that kind of update, you know, a big nothing burger, right? Then I won't. But if it's something, then I'll come live and talk about it. So yeah, it is true. That's what's been said. That's why I decided to jump on and have a discussion with you guys, because this afternoon I've been going through the press conferences again to remind myself what law enforcement said. And there was a few things that I've played. So if you're just coming in, I've already played them. Just rewind and watch the replay. There's a few things that are worth discussing now, knowing what we know now. So that's what I've done. So yeah, hopefully we will get some information. Hopefully it won't just be a big fat nothing burger. Hopefully it will be something that gives us something else. Washoe County. Thank you, Kirsten. Reno is the county seat of Washoe County. So did he ring his own county, Washoe County, or did he ring the tip line? I bet he rang the tip line, but that's what I would have done. I don't know. If the car is on video, was not Kiely, then why not tell us? Exactly. That's exactly what I've been saying. All week. I've said it about 3 times on different videos. That if it's not Kiely's car, and it's not Kiely, there's absolutely no reason why that cannot be stated by law enforcement, because it doesn't influence the investigation at all. There's nothing. It's not of any investigative value. So they don't need to keep it a secret. They can literally just put a tweet out and say, we've heard this, you know, blah, blah, blah. We've heard this and it is not true. We can confirm this was not Kiely's vehicle and it was not Kiely. They could do it in a tweet, 230 characters or 240 characters and less. They could do it in, but they haven't. Why haven't they? It's a really good question. And it's why I keep going back to roadside assistance guy. Why haven't they discounted it? Maybe we'll find out. Maybe we'll find out next week. Maybe we'll find out on Monday, 2 days' time. Don't know. Don't know. Don't know, guys. All right. I've been on nearly 2 hours. I try to keep things under 2 hours so that they're watchable. My email address, I don't normally check emails. I'm going to be honest. I only occasionally check them, but it's in the description box of every video, I think, more or less every video. It's my PayPal address. I'll type it in the chat. But I've got, I don't check because I've got so many. I've just got absolutely overloaded, so it's just like I can't even go there. So occasionally I do check, very rarely though. But I can give you my email address if it's but it is in the description box of every video. It is. If it's really, really, really urgent and you put urgent in the title and you know, I'll see it. But please forgive me, guys, if you've emailed me or you've, especially Facebook Messenger. Oh my word. I don't have Messenger on my phone for a reason. And it's because I just can't. I get so many messages by Messenger because I've got a Facebook group. I just can't. I'd literally spend all day replying to Facebook messages. I'm so sorry to people who've messaged me in the past and not got a response. It's just overwhelming. You know, I get so many messages that I'd literally have no time to do anything else. I'd have no time to not to do YouTube, but I'd have no time to do my other work that I do. Because YouTube isn't the only thing I do with my life, guys. So please, please, please accept my apologies when I don't respond. I try to respond. I've got my Facebook group. I try to respond to as many messages there as I can. But I can't. I just can't do everything. I can't reply to every single message. It drives me insane. It would just be too much. Yeah. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you so much, Joshua, for the $5. It's very much appreciated. I do have a PO box. Again, the PO box is in the description box of every video. Might not be on this channel, though. I need to update. Just let me double check. I need to update my. Oops. Let me just have a look. Oh no, that's oh no, that's MichelleAfterDark. I've picked a video that's MichelleAfterDark. Hold on. So on MichelleAfterDark, the PO box address is in the description box of every single video. So if you want to send the dogs a treat or something like that, I had a care package came yesterday. So yeah, if you want to send them some treats, then please do. If you want to send a letter or something, then you can do that. The PO box is there. Let me just see if there's. I need to update the. Oh yeah. So even on this channel, Michelle Walks, I've got the PayPal address, which you can send me an email on. And snail mail, that's my PO box. It's PO Box 684 Chorley, United Kingdom, PR6 6RH. I'll put it in the chat. That's the PO box address. And no, I don't live in Chorley. It's the postal address for this area. So, okay. I'm going to wind this down, guys, because I've been on nearly 2 hours. And, thank you. Thank you so much. They love getting letters and stuff. Like, Cassie got a packet of treats the other day, but it wasn't in a box. It came through the letterbox in a just a normal package. So she got it to it before I did, and opened it, and she's there with the treats. She got the treats out and everything, but I caught her just in time. So Tilly did get some. She didn't eat the whole packet before I got treats. Thank you, you too, Tia Dash. Thank you so much. No, Tilly won't be having puppies. No, she won't be having puppies. All right, guys, I'm going to call it here. Thank you so much for spending a couple of hours with me this evening. I hope you have a great day, whatever you choose to do with the rest of the day. I'll see you tomorrow over on Michelle After Dark, as usual, for another video. Thank you for people who sent super chats and super stickers. It's very appreciated. Thank you to Trixie Star, as always, for moderating, and I'm out. Bye, guys.